everyone, it's a new week, and we, some of you know, we just got back from LA last night, so I can see my hair is going everywhere, and behind me, what you see is When Shell Summer Comes Home, what didn't sell, and we have the addition this time of the fabric that I picked up in the garment district. So just a little chaotic here, but I wanted to make sure I got a video in because I said I was going to do this every other week. And I had a little story to share today. I had put in social media that my mom died 10 years ago on Sunday. And so that was a day that, I was trying to really frame it around good things that happened rather than focusing on the loss. But something else that happened last week, it seems like every year around the time she died, she brings me something. She gives me a gift of some sort, a physical item. And one year I remember it was a stretch and sew book. And this is significant because she had her own stretch and sew book. She did stretch and sew, but we had, when she died 10 years ago, I wasn't doing Shell Summer yet. I had no idea that I was going to do any of this. I was still I guess I was still a year and a half or so away from that happening. And I remember the stretch and sew book that we had given it away. And, anyway, one had, and then suddenly when I started doing all this, all of a sudden there was one at an estate sale. So on Thursday, I went to an estate sale and there was a Bernina sewing machine, the same one that my mom has, the same or had, the one that she gave me that I do most of my sewing on. And but last summer when I had it worked on because something happened, the guy told me that you can't get parts for these anymore. That they don't make them, they make them differently. And so when we have found them at a very reasonable price, we picked up two more, and sometimes I'll use those instead, especially when I'm sewing those placemats. You've seen the vinyl and the paper, which is really about the needle, but still when the presser foot gets stuck, that's a whole other story because they're supposed to be plastic presser foots, but I've had trouble that hasn't worked. Anyway, so I had picked, and I saw one at an estate sale at a very reasonable price. It came with the cabinet, which I was like, I don't really have room for, but I was like, I could figure this out and it would just be a really fun vintage piece. But I hemmed and I hawed, and I have to tell you, every time I do that, the estate sale, do I buy it? Do I not? I'll text Greg. Greg's teaching. He may not get back to me. Every time I do it, it gets me in trouble, and it did. So I got home and I had, paid for my things. I got home and I decided I wanted it, and I texted the guy and he said, sure, no problem. I said, I'm going to come tomorrow because I was already home. It was not a long way, but I was getting ready to go to LA. And a couple hours later, when he left the table, where he's checking everybody out, somebody, his assistant sold it to somebody. So, I was disappointed, but it was like, this isn't meant to be. And as I was sewing that afternoon, I was finishing up, actually, I think I was doing placemats, the rest of the placemats I did that day. I realized that I really do have to, when I'm ready, financially get an industrial machine, which also takes up space, because I need something, for one, that does sew a lot faster with all the sewing that I'm doing, besides going through these multiple layers. So that said, I knew that Mom was probably going to send me another gift. If that wasn't the gift, or maybe that was the gift, but I had passed it by. So on Friday morning, there were a number of estate sales, and I decided to start at the one that was the family sale, looked like a smaller sale. And I know that sometimes people don't always go to those. They go to the ones that have lots of stuff and they're by companies, but I prefer the family. I don't think what people often realize about what I do, what I find interesting is getting something directly from the person, the family, that the person owned it. Actually had somebody offer me, she's like, oh, I have all this fabric, and, she basically sells to artists. Well, that's kind of taking the joy out of it for me. Maybe I will need that one day, but right now I don't. I much, if the opportunity comes along, it's fine, but I much prefer to get it from the family. So I got all these tablecloths, vintage tablecloths for $2 each, and didn't really look at them, just knew what they were, and some napkins, and I think that was pretty much some linens, a Vera Newman scarf, and went on my way. Went to a couple more estate sales, and in the last one, actually saw a magazine called Marianne, a French magazine, And so then, but by then I had driven, I was sitting at a light, opened this, I had this. This is one of the tablecloths, and had not really looked at it. Knew it had never been used, but I opened it up just enough to see that it was Lily of the Valley, and that was my mom's thing. So I knew then that that was the gift from Mom this year. And, you know, it puts a positive spin on the loss. And then the magazine, Marianne, is spelled, the significance of that is she spelled her name Marianne. And it was a French magazine. So this this was a gift from Mom. And it just makes all the difference in the world to me to still have that connection. So that's my little story for this week, because I probably have new things to share, but everything's packed up. You can see I got new fabric here I've had a chance to take out. And so look forward to lots of new things coming as soon as I get unpacked and get settled, and before I have to repack to head to Palm Springs for the Palm Springs Vintage Market in a week and a half. I can't remember if it's the first weekend of April. I think it's the 6th. I don't know what day it is. What day is today? Anyway, but in the meantime, Shell Summer, www.shell, CHELLE, Summer of the Month, SUMMER.com. Lots of stuff. If you're in Palm Springs and you see this, and you want to purchase something, just hit the delivery pickup. It won't charge you shipping, and we'll be sure to bring it with us for you. Have a great week, everybody. Have a happy Easter for those who are celebrating. And spring is here, although we had some snow. It looks like we have snow up in the mountains for sure. Had snow on the way home last night, but spring is here. We're getting into color mode. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.